universe is large, very large indeed. The enormity of it boggles the mind of the beholder. The extremeness of how large it is something out of a cartoon, something that cannot be represented in a way that you could possibly understand and could possibly get a hold on the human mind. The size of the universe is something that we have nothing else to compare to, as there isn't anything else that size. There isn't anything possibly as big as 93 billion light years. Or is there? The universe is all we know of, our home, our element, the thing that holds everything that we know, everything our ancestors have known, and everything that perhaps extraterrestrial aliens have known. But is that it? Sure, the universe might be the only thing that we can see, and that it doesn't mean that it is the only thing out there in the universe. No, that is not the correct term. Perhaps in the multiverse. While our livelihoods might not be the sole purpose in this realm, this dimension of space and time, recently has been presented before the scientific community a theory so great, so preposterous, so phenomenal and unconventional, but yet so probable that it has been deemed somewhat of a plausible thought. The multiverse theory isn't something to be cast away. It's something to embrace, something that should be taken seriously in regards to its numerous forms. Multiverse theory is revolutionary, and in this video, I want to show why it has a chance of being real, the different forms of the multiverse, and also the manifestations and repercussions of if it is real. Anyways, this video took hours of work, so if you could sub and like, that would be awesome. Anyways, on with the video. The multiverse theory is built around a few different iterations, or different kinds. Number one is quantum multiverses, or parallel universes. This is essentially where the universe is split into different dimensions, with every action, movement, tussle of hair, movement of grass, a new universe is made. A copy of the other universe, but just in a slightly different way, i.e., those movements or tussle of hair. This makes these universes look like a fractal branching off into the infinities. If you went into another timeline, then there might be you. There might be a United States. There might be a world. For every one of those worlds, there's always one that action that separates it from the rest of the world is detrimental and caused the downfall of humanity. Perhaps it was when someone filled up a plane that took the atomic bombs to Nagasaki, and they were off by a little bit, or perhaps it was an accidental press of the nuclear button. All of these things could have caused the downfall of humanity, and in our universe, they didn't have any effect. Up is M3 multiverses, which if true could mean more than just proof of multiverses. It could instead mean a key to the physics of our own universe. M3 is a theory for the GT, or the Grand Unifying Theory, something that would unite all the four forces of the universe, namely gravity, electromagnetism, and the strong and weak forces of nuclear. Einstein himself worked on this for the last years of his life, becoming somewhat of an outcast in the scientific community because of his inability to accept quantum theory, his surliness, and his need to unify all theories, which at that point did not even include the weak nuclear force, which was only discovered in 1983. But in effect, M-theory is a theory that has been a guiding force and prevalent force in the scientific community. M-theory says that down smaller than even quarks, which are the building blocks for atoms themselves, there are little strings or membranes, which was a namesake for the first theory, string theory, which is now M-theory, that vibrate, and those vibrations make up the movement of the universe. Multiverses come into the equation when it calls that little bubbles, all like our own kind of universe, but with different assortments of rules and physics, are drifting out into the multiverse. This calls for an incredible amount of universes. Some estimates range up to 10 to the 500th power universes in the multiverse. Outside our bubble, there are many more, an incredible amount of them. We cannot fathom how many there would be. And what really boggles the mind is that, as there would be totally different rules and laws and constraints, what would possibly be there? Would it be so very different that existence as we know it has nothing to balance on? Nothing that is anything like here's physics and rules. Would it be so different that it would be peculiar and alien to us, and we could not wrap our heads around it in any capacity? Now we need to talk about what it would mean for us if there were universes out there, if we could travel to them, and if they could save us. The notion that something so abstract, something so mysterious, something on the very edge of what scrutinistic scholars deem possible. Multiverses have some sort of quality that leads you to believe that anything could be possible. But us going to the multiverse is something out of a fantasy. Going there seems impossible, but just as Dr. Seuss says, anything is possible. Getting to a new universe would require identifying what kind of universe is out there, as you can't get into a quantum universe if you were trying to get to an M-theory universe. Once you get to that point, we need to figure out how to get into the multiverse. Parallel universes are stacked upon themselves, sometimes thousands of light years away. So if we wanted to escape this universe, then we would have to first think of something that would be able to fly at an incredible speed. It's because even in a trillion years or so, it might be easy to fly 1,000 light years to get to a universe, but it might be just like the one that we had to leave. But you would probably have to fly billions of light years into the multiverse to reach a universe that is habitable for those future societies. Each and every universe we would have to stop at, see a new version of reality, and carry on, leaving the other versions of ourselves. It could strip our sanity, it could be the fall of humanity, having to leave ourselves to the heat death of the universe. But we would have to do it for the survival of our universe. M-theory universes are more optimistic, as instead of having to venture far out and wide into the multiverse, we would instead be able to make our own universe, our own bubble. We could do this by using a false vacuum that would suck a certain amount of our universe into a bubble that itself would venture into the multiverse. A lone universe and a whole lot of bubbles saved from the calling jaws of entropy. But are there other universes out there? We don't know just yet, as we probably will have to do some good science and research into it. But we cannot do that just yet. We do have some evidence, though, to the cause. Cosmic microwave background radiation is the outline of the heat or radiation of the universe. Recently, we have noticed an unusual splotch, something that leads to the conclusion that a multiverse might have bumped us. But until we have concrete evidence, we'll have to wait. See ya. Thanks for watching the video.